A little touch on that one quote from Osho today that says that problems will continue to arise till you come to a deep understanding of witnessing. That is the only golden key discovered by centuries of inward search in the East, that there is no need to solve any problem. You simply observe it, and the very observation is enough. The problem evaporates. Indeed, that's like a major notion which most human will have an issue with, because as people think in general, exactly by thinking the basic way and existing the basic way, and as I've explained in another audio about the way those so-called experts, scientists or whatever, deal with things in life and problems, it comes from still being quite ignorant, thus making things not the best way, the proper way, or not properly understanding how things work. Then, of course, problems arise, and then they still try to fix that from that same still ignorant standpoint, which only usually creates more problem or makes things more complicated rather than fixing really anything. They might think that they have fixed or repaired something or found the solution, but usually it's only temporary, and then until later it still becomes an issue. And exactly because of the typical basic human mind that believes in with the wrong view that things are kind of solid and set in space and time a certain way, then they also want to deal with things that way, in a solid, concrete manner. And that's why, again, it becomes like the hard way and the not efficient way. And as such, with that kind of mindset, it is a very hard one to grasp, and thus to accept, and even more to practice, even though that's what meditation should teach you, that relaxing mind attitude that's taking distance and surrender to what is, to the situation, only trying to use that ideally wise awareness to properly observe and understand what is, but also accept it for what it is. And especially in the mind, then that is actually what will solve properly an issue or a problem. But again, it's a very hard one to grasp and take. That typical messed up, complicated human mind always want to deal with things and handle things in its typical ignorant way, with complicated means and ways and concrete affection to it, instead of let it be for what it is and observe to learn and understand properly and let it go, and then it will solve itself that way. Again, back to the famous quote of Einstein that says that we cannot solve a problem at the same level of consciousness that created it, and that this is kind of the main issue of mankind, with that very ignorant ego and collective ego of humans who still think they know enough how to deal with things, how to fix things, or to go against nature or improve on nature, which is even worse. And exactly that mindset is only what makes everything worse and more complicated, just as we see right now. Still, there is that agreement in the community, especially the scientific community, that they like to say and think that they have improved so much their knowledge and technology, that they have made so huge steps forwards, which is of course typically the very immature ego trip. But ultimately what they have done and what we see now is that they have created systems and technologies that have just messed up so much the earth at the global scale now, in a way that it's irreversible. And what they keep doing is that they're presenting it as new technology or new improvement. They only try to fix the mess that they have created themselves. And they fix it, of course, in a very ignorant way, which just keep making things worse and more complicated and more mess in the world, whether in the environment, affecting other beings, and affecting themselves, of course, towards self-destruction. So exactly because humans exist through that ego, as usual, it's a very, very hard one to humble down into being a simple observer, but try to develop wisdom through proper observation and develop that awareness to study what is for what it is, objectively, and also let it be like that, what it is for what it is. Only accept to learn from it, because you are just a little part of that whole thing and still have a lot to learn for sure. As I meant, at 20-25% of brain capacity use, again, which is mostly on the mediocre side, right? The lower mediocre side. There's not much intelligence yet being used. So rather having the humility of accepting the state of being a beginner learner and observing properly to still learn more from nature, from the universe, and let things be for what they are. Whatever happens within you or outside of you, surrender to that reality. Be just that neutral witness with what we call equanimity, upekkha, in Buddhist practice, in Vipassana, and that becomes the key actually to reach the highest level of intelligence and wisdom. Then everything becomes clear and one has a complete understanding of the whole. But you have to remain equanimous, meaning not trying to bring in that ignorant human mindset of having an opinion on what you cannot really understand properly anyway. Not having an emotion linked to whatever happens within you or outside of you. Just be that humble witness, eager and open to learn from observing only, witnessing. And especially within yourself, there lies all the answers anyway to everything. But that's the point again, that the non-action in that sense, the surrender to just the situation as it is, and acceptance of it without any reaction, is what will bring the best outcome and the proper understanding of things, and things will get solved by themselves. But of course that is a very, very hard one to grasp first of all, and of course even more to put in practice, because humans always in the instant reaction mode take it for granted that they have the means to deal with anything that happens mentally or physically, only to make things worse. So, and then there is that famous other quote of Einstein that says that when you keep doing the same mistake over and over and not change, expecting that the result will change, this is the definition of insanity. Indeed, that defines the humans so far. Just because of that big ego and conceit that thinks it has the means to handle or deal with things which they still don't understand very much and very well, and that includes, of course, themselves totally. So learn that humble path of not knowing and accepting things for what they are, and just becoming a neutral witness full of upekkha, equanimity. Just surrender and accept things as they are, yatha Buddha. And then you will see how things get more resolved properly, smoothly,